Assalamu alaikum students. How are you all? I'm your science teacher. Today I will teach you science for class 7. Today we will learn our new topic from page number 3. Heat is about moving particles. Today we will learn about heat. What heat is. So students, I am starting reading. Listen to me carefully and try to judge the answers of the given questions. You have learned that everything is made of particles called atoms and molecules. They are constantly on the move, either vibrating or moving freely. It is the motion of particles that creates form of energy called heat. The movement of particles is affected by temperature. The higher the temperature, the faster the particles move. This is known as the kinetic theory. Students, everything in the world is made up of particles. And these particles are called atoms and molecules. Student, let me show the figure of atom. Here is the figure of an atom. An atom has a center called nucleus, which contains particles called protons and neutrons outside the nucleus, but inside the atom are particles called electron. Now let me show the second diagram. It is about molecules. Here is a diagram of a water molecule. What is molecule? A molecule is two or more atoms joined together. You may have heard water called H2O. This is because water molecules are made up of two hydrogen atoms and one oxygen atom. So the movement of particles is affected by temperature. The higher the temperature, the faster particle moves. Here is about kinetic theory. What is kinetic theory? Let me tell you about kinetic theory. The body of theory which explains the physical properties of matter in terms of the motion of its constituent particles. This is called kinetic theory. Now page number 4. On the top, 3 diagrams has drawn. One is about solid, second is about liquid, and third one is about gases. Solids do not contain a lot of heat energy. Each particle vibrates around its fixed place in the framework. Example, ice. Students, particles in a solid are packed tightly together. They cannot move. That means solids have the same shape no matter where you put them. Liquids. Liquids have more heat energy than solids. Particles are able to move around by rolling over each other. Example, water. Particles in a liquid are not packed as tightly together as in a solid. They have room to move around. That means they can change the shape according to the container they are put in. Students, remember that solids do not change its shape, but liquids change its shape. In the example, water is written. So, water is the example in liquid. Gases. Gases have most heat energy. Particles move very quickly and are free to move in any direction. Example, steam. Students, particles in a gas have a lot of space between them. This means they can move quickly and freely through the air. So, in solid, example is ice. In liquid, example is water. And in gas, example is steam. Student, let me tell you, water can be a solid, liquid or gas. How? Let me explain. Solid water is ice. Liquid water is the water you drink. And water as a gas is steam. Now, the kinetic theory can explain how substances behave. The loss or gaining of heat can change the state of matter. How? They can change the state of matter in melting, evaporation, condensing, freezing, and mass conservation. Melting. If a solid is warmed, its particles move faster until some break free and become part of liquid. Here is said that when a solid gets warmed, its particle moves faster. When a thing is in form of solid, its particles are tightly packed. When it's started melting or it's get warm, its particles move faster until some break free and become part for a liquid. Melting matter change its form, a solid to a liquid. It does this by giving it more energy. Evaporation. If heat is applied to a liquid, the particles move faster still. At the surface, the faster the particles break free to form a gas above it. Now let's read about evaporation. Student, evaporation turns a liquid into gas. And heat is applied to a liquid. So the particles start moving faster. And at the surface, the faster particles break free to form a gas above it. It does this by giving the liquid so much heat that particles separate from each other and are able to move around freely. Evaporation is different from boiling. Liquids start evaporating at temperature well below their boiling points. Condensing. When heat energy is removed from a gas, its temperature falls, the gas particles slow down and move closer together. Eventually, they will come close enough to form a liquid. Condensation happens when a gas is cooled so much that it becomes a liquid. This happens because the particles in the gas lose energy and start moving together. Freezing. As a solid cools, the particles slow down. Eventually, they will start to form a framework which is like that of a solid. Freezing matter changes it from a liquid into a solid. It does this by taking away energy, so it is the opposite of melting. When liquid is frozen, the particles stop moving and become closer and closer until the liquid becomes a solid. All liquids have a freezing point that is measured by temperature. Mass is conserved, means mass conservation. Mass is conserved in these changes of states. Only the behavior of the particles change. The actual particle remains the same all the time. Therefore, the total mass of the substance never changes. What is mass conservation? Let me explain about it. The laws of conservation of mass states the mass in an isolated system is neither created nor destroyed. By how? By chemical reactions or physical transformations. In mass conservation, just the behavior of particles changes and the actual particles remain the same all the time. So, the total mass of the substance never changes. Here is diagram drawn a kettle. Let's read what's written here. Water is turning to steam in this kettle because heat is making its particle move faster. Inside the kettle, it is full of water, and water is turning to steam. Why? Because heat is making its particle move faster. Some questions are given here, so student, find out their answers. Thank you.